Those are actually the stories we've been tracking for you in the last, say, 24 hours to the early part of this morning. Remember, the Olympics are still on, by the way. But to tell us exactly what you've been saying on X, Bukola joins me on the program. Bukola?
Yes, indeed, Jeffrey. Hello again. And the protest is still big on the minds of Nigerians for good reason.
Exactly.
Because it's just one day, less than 24 hours to the big day. And of course, there are other issues, that are also dominating the discussion. Speaking of which, the first on, our lineup for review is that revelation by Interpol that hundreds of dollars are laundered out of Nigeria every hour.
Every hour.
Not
so the boys are busy.
Very busy. Every hour. Not every 10 hours, not every 24 hours, every hour. So if you calculate $100, let's just say be modest, $100 in 24 hours. Imagine how much may have been laundered. Yeah. So, it's mind-boggling, really. Godwin is the first person talking this morning, and he says, laundered by who? Good question. And to where exactly? Nigeria, my country. Chai. Very brief.
All right, so that's good. If we can have the next one. All of this, at the end of the day, it just speaks to the fact that we need to do something as quickly as possible to ensure that...
Akinola is the next person talking this morning. Akinola says, and NSC didn't see these ones. Shouldn't they have been able to radar such events and work with ICPC and EFCC? That's the big question. Every time we have such revelations, about corruption, about the uncovering of people who are behind, terrorism financing, we have the revelations, but more often than not, we don't have the revelation of the persons behind these acts. So it behoves of Nigerians to ask such questions.
Okay, so this is from Carrington Ojay. Maybe this is the last we'll take on these particular ones. Isn't the DSS, the police, and the EFCC supposed to dig deeper to dish out these money launderers as against channeling energy on legitimate protesters? I wait for my country.
Okay, so away from that now, Jeffrey. This time around, we're moving to the IGP's proposal for confined protests, and he insisted on street processions. Adewale Ganiyu speaks first, and he says, when you insist on street protests, others' rights will be infringed upon. Then a very huge percentage of Nigerians are in the informal sector, whereby their means of livelihood greatly depend on daily activities. Yes, Nigerians are daily earners. Now, when you do street protests, these groups will be worse hit.
I think both sides have a point. It's just to find a common ground. The police is concerned about the ability to man every area. The protester says within our right to do it as we want, as long as we're peaceful. So I'm sure they'll find a common ground to make sure this is peaceful, because nobody wants it to degenerate into chaos and anarchy. I don't know what the law says about restricting to an area, but that's perhaps...
Truth be told, very many daily earners may not come out during these protests. Come out, I mean now, to ply their trade because of the concerns of security and because of the atmosphere ahead of these protests.
All right, Okiti Ogan says they must be held responsible for whatever happens in any place they choose to hold their protest. Okay.
And Kenny says, funny enough, all these people trying to restrain and confine this protest had in one way or another participated or even pioneered a protest.
All right, let's go to the one that Lagos has restricted. Lagos state government through the courts. They approached the court to restrict the protest to Freedom Park and Peace Park, both in Ojota and Ketu. SK_FR says judgment in the right direction. Let everyone carry their daily activities without one affecting the other. As simple as that.
And Chief Sanitarian says court restricting protests. Who does that? Only in Nigeria, Sha.
All right, the next one. Federal government begins sale of 50 kg of rice for 40,000 naira. Remember, the Minister of Information and Orientation, National Orientation, mentioned this during a presser yesterday or so.
2 days ago now.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
So Avocado says, so what happens after the bags of rice are all sold out? We go back to buying it at 95,000 naira. We need a lasting solution. Enough of all these one cup of rice approach, please.
And Sixtus Amanze says it must be sold at 2K or 5K. Well, we must be realistic. Let's just continue. 40K is still very, very, very much. Minimum wage of 70K should be able to buy at least 10 bags of rice. Thank you.
All right, let's talk about the one that Wike dialogue. And say, let's dialogue. You'll see changes in a few days. Now, this is how to talk in a democracy.
Yeah.
So I think he's beginning to get the tone of the people. Section 14, subsection 2A, which is one of my favorite sections. I believe that section should be taught in every school, primary school, section 14, because it says a lot. The section says that, without quoting verbatim, sovereignty belongs to the people, from whom government and authorities will derive their power. It is the people. Like in England, sovereignty may belong to the king or the queen, whoever is in charge, but here it belongs to the people. And I'm happy that it's beginning to toe the line of appeal.
Well, Jeffrey, I wish that reflects in reality,
all right,
particularly in testy times like this.
All right, so AI Ken says, implement short-term programs to ease the hunger and cost of living in the land does not require a magic wand in over 365 days. Just like PBATS, as the president, his appointees should appeal and not provoke the already provoked with blackmails and threat, as though it was reading our minds.
Our force is the next speaker, and they say before any dialogue, Tinubu should sell his new private jet and yacht and convert the newly built VP house to public library. Then we can start dialogue.
Oh, okay, without defending the government, we don't have new private jet yet, at least bought yet.
We don't have a yacht yet.
We don't have a yacht yet.
Either.
But we have the VP residence, which is one of the reasons people are very angry with the government. Why would you spend 21 billion
on the renovation? We're not reconstructing a new residence.
Maybe FCT Minister Yeson Wike has the answer to that. All right, new NYSC allowances for core members is now 77,000. Now, God is good to these people. Adewa Abanda said, kudos to the appropriate authority, but the main thing is still to look into the security and food or agricultural sector. This is
Adwaya. Shadow Monarch says 77K is only huge when you talk about it in figures. But once you get to the market, you will realize that the 9K is paid back then in 2009 is more valuable than what they will be receiving today. Well, you can say that again, particularly if you consider the needs of the average copper. If you have served before, you know that sometimes you have to pay for accommodation because not everyone can be accommodated in the Coppers Lodge. So you have needs, you have bills to pay.
At least for the first time in history, Coppers now is 70K.
What's the value of 77,000?
But you have 70K.
And probably the state government is paying maybe just about 15,000 naira.
Yeah, no, but that will be all for this particular one. We have a lot more that you said, but we have to get into the conversation. We have loads of them. So let's get straight to it. But we must thank you for keeping your thoughts and your views coming in. Even if you have videos, send them as well. As much as possible, we'll take them on the program. But we'll take this quick break. When we come back, it's going to be the first. We're going to go to that first conversation. And today, it's all about what is going to happen tomorrow, but different perspective. Join us again.